the guy's not much bigger than you, you will be able to block him rolling that way. Because the moment that he tried to go, I'll push myself, I hold myself where I am. Now my grip on his gi prevent him going that way. Roll that way, Greg. It's not easy. Worst case scenario, you'll never be easy. It's never, he'll roll and he'll bring you with him. The guy is very exposed, he's very big, keep going to the right, Greg. If I feel I'm going, I'll just step over. Now I'm threatening his side control. 90% of the times I find myself here, they roll back. They don't want me on their side control. And I go right back where I was. So it's not easy for the guy to roll that way. And if you try to roll the opposite way, my arm will prevent him putting back in his guard, because he's not gonna break my grip on his gi. And if you roll to his left, my arm is blocking his legs. They'll put me straight on side control. So that way, I feel pretty secure attacking people's back in a way for him to defend himself. Now the next goal is just to hook sends. A lot of the times, I roll people over to me. I think some of the guys that I was training these days, I got in that disposition. I think every time I put him right here. A lot of people, when they do that, I see them going on their backs. If my back touches the floor, I lose all my mobility. So if I want to pull him to me, I'm not going to roll over my back and pull. This is very dangerous. He'll step over to the side and get my side control. So if my back touches the floor, I'll be like a turtle. I lose all the mobility with that guy right over me. And it's not a good position to be. So when I pull, what I'm looking for is to stay sitting on the floor, and I want him sitting right between my legs, right here, with my knees tight. The grip is still there. Now the hand goes over, I start tracking his neck, and then I'm looking for the hooks. If there's a hook that I want to put first, it'll be this one. This leg he'll be rolling over. This one is free. So when I pull, look, that hook is already opening to throw it in, so it's easier to throw the hook in. It's very difficult to put both at the same time. Usually when you go in, he will defend himself. But this is always, there needs to be some work. So here I'll cross my feet, I'll grab palm to palm, and then just like an arm lock, I push my hips forward, and then I open him up. Because for him to defend himself, he needs the knees as close as he can from his chest. So he's gonna stay curved like a ball, blocking my hook. So I hold my hands, hand to hand, my feet cross. Now I separate the legs from his chest. I'll start stretching, but the more I go, the easier it is for the hook to go in. But holding the hand and crossing the feet, after I open up, then the hook goes right in. This is probably one of the main ways that I'm able to get the hooks in, when I'm able to make the person sit on the floor. A lot of the times, it's not as easy. Bota o cotovelo em cima da coxa. A lot, if I cannot roll him, here look, if I pull and he start defending, I'm gonna start looking for that hook. Because if you realize, as long as my back is right over my chest is right over his back, my body is already perfectly positioned for the back control. The only thing that needs is the hooks. So I don't need adjustment. That's why I like to stay right over him. If I'm over the side, I'm not yet positioned to put the hooks in, so it's a lot of movement on my part for them to throw the hooks. If I stay here, my body does not need any adjustment. All it needs is the hooks to go in. His elbow is right over his thigh. So I go the curve of my elbow, under his elbow, I pull, the arm goes right in. So it's not really difficult to put the arm in to grab the opposite collar. Sometimes you can go through a small gap between his arm and his hips. I can go underneath, look, I pull, the arm goes in, then I start grabbing the collar. This is not a choke. I do not want to go up. I'll stay as low as I can right in the middle of his back. Because the moment that I pull, I want to pull his hips. I don't want to start pulling high on his back. So if I'm grabbing If I grab too high, if you look for the collar, the pressure when I pull, will be high right in his armpit or his chest. I want to pull the hips. That's what's going to make him come with me. When I pull, you come. It has to be the hips. Here they can resist. And I'm pulling this part of his body. I want to pull the hips. You see right on the floor. Yeah. Just throw the hooks in. So it's very important. Don't go high, because that will elevate my arm. And in case I pull, I'll be pulling his the higher part of his body. You want to pull the hips.
Start getting underneath his hips. I'm gonna use my foot here to bend his knee, right? So he's probably gonna try to extend his leg, so I'm gonna use my foot over here as a hook to bend his knee, and I'm gonna trade hooks, right? So now I have my shin behind his shin, and all I have to do is extend him away, and I have his back. All right, now I have full speed, right? Hey, I'm Manshir Munch from Marcelo Garcia's Academy, and I'm here with my friend and good training partner Dylan Dennis, and we're going to cover some X-guard techniques today. So whenever I'm playing the butterfly guard, I prefer to stay seated. I prefer to get into my X-guard, single leg X-guard from a butterfly position, but sometimes the person on top has good pressure and they're able to put me flat on my back. And as soon as that happens, I'd like to find my reverse delta lever hook here, right? And I'd like to find my foot on his hip over here to keep that distance. And now what I like to do is I like to make a grip on his collar. Right, so this is gonna help me with controlling his weight, right? I don't want him to get too heavy, I can push him away, or if he's getting away from me, I can pull him in. And now my free hand is gonna go and underhook his foot, right? So it's not an overhook, so I'm not going over his foot, I'm going underneath his foot, and I'm making a hook here. And now guys, I'm gonna be looking to get into my X-guard position, right? But from this, I don't like to get into the basic X-guard, I like to get into the inverted X-guard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push to create some space, and now as I invert, I'm gonna pull him over me. Right, and now I'm starting to come out through the back door here. I'm still controlling his ankle. Now my reverse delta lever hook is gonna come out, and I'm gonna hook his leg. Right, hook his far leg. This foot is gonna be next to my head, and the other hook is gonna come underneath. And now I have him in a perfect inverted X-guard position. And now I can start to look to sweep him. So one of the most basic sweeps I can do here is just the technical stand-up. So I'm just gonna extend my hooks, making sure my head stays up, because if my head is low, all he has to do is just kick his leg away from me or kick his leg over, right? Over the other way, yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna make sure my head stays up. And now I'm gonna control his ankle and then just look to sweep him and get on top, right? Another option from the same position. So, is I can start to climb up to his back, right? So all I need to do is I'm gonna control his pant leg on the other side so he doesn't get away from me. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna circle this arm around, and I can start to control this leg as well. And now I come behind, right? Make double hooks, grab his belt, grab his pants, and I can start to attack his back. Part 2 of my series, I'm going to go over an overhead sweep from single leg X. That works. That's a really high percentage for me. So we're going to start in the single leg X position. And I'm here. Now, there's a couple of ways you can control from here, right? I can grab his gi pants. I can go inside and make the ankle out grip, or I can grab my own thigh here, right? But all I'm going to do today is I'm just going to use my armpit to keep this tight, right? And now a lot of times what happens is the guy, he wants to get out of this position, so he's going to try to hand fight with you. So maybe, or he wants to stay on top of you, stay heavy. So a couple options you have over here is that I can hold his gi over here and I'm gonna stay tight. And now what I like to do is I like to try to find the other hand. And a lot of times this is, you know, the person, they like to control the gi and to try to take you off the mat here. Right? So they try to basically just control you in this position, so it's very hard to move. So when this happens, I don't really mind so much. I just grip him as well. right? So I have 2 grips now on both his arms. And now what I'm gonna look to do is my hook that's on the near side is gonna go to the far side, right? And the foot that's on the hip is gonna come inside, right? But my knee stays outside. So I'm leading the move with my foot, not my knee, right? So my knee stays outside and my foot finds his hip. And now what I'm gonna do is my foot that's inside on the far side is gonna come on his hip as well, right? So now I have both my feet on his hips. So I have 2 feet on his hips and two hands controlling his arms here. So I'm controlling all of his bases except his head. So now what I'm gonna look to do is I'm gonna look to sweep him over, and most likely he's gonna roll on his shoulder, right? Because he doesn't want his head to hit the mat. So I'm gonna start to lift my partner up here and sweep him over. Right, both my feet on his hips, and I'm controlling both the sleeves, and all I'm gonna do now is my feet are gonna come off his hips, I'm gonna shoot myself over to side control. And then establish a good top position. So now I'm gonna show at a full speed.
Hi guys, Jackson Souza here. So I'm here with my friend Alan Fifo. You know, we both from the Cantagalo, but we here in Long Beach, no, Signal Hill at the Checkmate headquarters, Leozinho Vieira's Academy. So guys, I'm gonna show you guys a simple position that I use a lot, like a drill as well. You know, and also some variation from the X dot to go to the back. Okay, it's a very simple position, though I'm gonna try to explain about some details. It's really important for you guys get this position. Okay, so the position here, guys, is really important, guys. We always try to use your body very light. You know, you don't need to use it very strong. You know, you need to be like very simple here. Okay, and in my hooks, my legs, always I'm gonna try to work under his leg, between his legs, right? So when I was like my leg under him here, always I'm gonna try to use my hands under his armpit to grab his belt. And in my other hands, I can have 2 options. I can control his tricep like that, or I can control his wrist. Okay? Usually old school like to control like that and then try to sweep. Okay? I prefer control the tricep like that. Okay? When I start to sweep him, sometimes